the genuine choice. No pretense, no hidden schemes. Just sports, passion, fueling dreams. From the field to the court, every play that's made. Real takes over fake debates. Turn it up, hear the honest sound. Unfiltered sports all year round. Discussions pure, no masquerade. Real takes over fake debates. Turn it up. Over fake debates. Real takes over fake debates. Real takes over fake debates.
We had the loop on. And we are live. Sbtalksports Sean Webb. Real takes over fake debates. We are here. Oh, phone blowing up. Let me see. We got the crazy notification. Well, this is breaking news, especially for tonight's game tonight, Sean. All-Pro corner Jalen Johnson is out for the Chicago Bears tonight.
Okay.
That's a hit for the Bears. But we definitely gonna get into the Bears preview very shortly at the end of this episode. Make sure you guys like, make sure you guys share, make sure you guys subscribe to everybody. Just salute Tiffany in the chat, salute Go James, salute Cottage, he say first, salute Brock's Bomber, everybody in the chat. So look, guys, we got a lot to cover. NFL Week 1 is here, Sean. First Monday night football of the season. But how was your first NFL Sunday of the year?
I mean, personally?
Yeah, personally.
If you're just talking about my team, yeah, obviously, we played as expected. But in terms of some of the games, there was some decent games yesterday. Obviously, we're gonna talk about last night's game. Yeah. Was probably the game of the day yesterday, and but the Atlanta-Tampa game ended up being a really good game. The Jets-Steelers game ended up being a really good game.
Shocker! I was shocked about that.
So I thought there was some really good games, but again, it's week 1, and I know we got a new segment we're going to be debuting during the podcast. I hope people stay on for that. But you got to remember it's week 1, and this is kind of what it is during week 1. It's almost an extension of the preseason in a lot of ways.
Yes.
A lot of guys who played yesterday did not play in the preseason. So you have to remember that. But also some questionable coaching decisions yesterday as well. Going to get into that in a moment too. But,
I'm going to say I want to know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Okay, I definitely want to hear you break that down. But before we get into our NFL Week 1 recap, because a lot of things happen, new players, new faces in new places, different coaches, changes, and all. So there's a lot of things to break down in Week 1. We got 2 other stories that have been talked about. I got an NBA story and a boxing story. And we might have the boxing might be dead forever, Sean. But let's get into the first story of the day before we get our NFL. The Lakers are linked to trading for Andrew Wiggins. Obviously, Sean, you are the consistent Miami Heat fan. You've already got your background with you. Sean walks with the Heat. You down for this trade? And then who was the Lakers going to give up for Andrew Wiggins? That's the question. And who would you want in return as the Heat? Because I don't really think it's none of the Lakers that you would possibly want as a Heat fan, right, Sean?
Luka. No.
Oh, that ain't no. It'd be a cold day.
No.
That ain't happening.
No. In all seriousness, no. I mean, this trade has been rumored. They've been, having some conversations all off season. I'm not sure it's going to happen. I think the Heat are very strong on what they want in terms of a package. The Lakers will likely have to send out Rui Hachimura just because of the salaries. And the package I initially saw was Rui Hachimura, Dalton Knecht, and a first-round pick. I don't think the Heat want either of those players. They want pick. They want that pick.
I don't think the Lakers should give up that pick. That'd be a bad trade.
Well, again, but you just think about it, SB. What are we talking about? We're talking about the Heat taking on contracts they don't want necessarily. And the reason why the Heat will be willing to take on those contracts is because of that pick, but also the Heat wanted salary cap flexibility going into next offseason, but now that the free agent market has changed since Luka has, extended with the Lakers, that might not necessarily be the Heat's interest right now. That might not be a lot of teams' interest right now. I think the biggest free agent name on the trade or on the free agent market next offseason is Trae Young. And again, I think it's more than likely that Atlanta extends him. So, do I love the trade? No. I would like to see a full season of Wiggins in a Heat uniform, but this is the new NBA, and this is the way these teams are going to be moving and operating. But do I think the trade happens? I don't think the trade happens unless the Lakers are willing to acquiesce on that first round pick.
For me, I feel like wait, hold on one more second. If we got another breaking news. Okay, no, this is the same story again. I was gonna say I'm like, breaking news again. But Sean, for me, I don't like the package. I don't like the trade. I feel like I get why you're trying to trade for a guy like Andrew Wiggins, especially after his time with the Warriors, championship pedigree. Now, God knows what to do to win. But if I got to give up a first round pick, I'm not taking a guy like Andrew Wiggins. Not even if it's for getting rid of a contract. I can't do it. That's just not for me. I think at the point of the Lakers where they are now, and I understand that you already got Luka secured, but you still don't want to make him unhappy because I think Luka only signed with a 2 to 3 year extension. So you got time in a while. So you don't want to risk any value that the only real value that you have left for a player like Andrew Wiggins actually make it worth something that's going to be that next big step, because reality of the fact is that LeBron is going to be gone next year. But so LeBron's most likely retiring next year. So you might want to keep those extra assets that you're going to have to bring in another guy to help alongside Luka, because you can't trade LeBron, and nobody else on the team really has value enough to get another star player.
And I think that's part of what the Lakers' point is the Lakers are saying, hey, listen, we're going to try to build this thing and fill this thing out around Austin Reeves and Luka Doncic. What you need around those guys is two-way players, particularly guys who can lock in and have versatility on the defensive end. We know Andrew Wiggins has that. We know Marcus Smart has that. So I think if you look at how they're probably thinking about it, they got to surround those guys with defenders, because let's be honest, they are still Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves defensively. So from the Lakers' perspective, I understand why there would be a serious interest in Andrew Wiggins. And like you said, he does bring, playoff experience. He does bring championship, experience with him. Obviously being a part of the 22 Warriors that won the championship and being a big part of that team. I think, to be frank, he was their second best player in the finals. Really probably that entire playoff run. When you look at how, the work he put in on both ends of the floor, guarding Luka Doncic, guarding Jason Tatum, so I think it's not that surprising that the Lakers would be, interested in him.
Then we gotta get to the next story, because I feel like people in the chat is already ready to talk about football. We're gonna get to that. Quick answer for Z Money. He said, I need DeAndre Swift under 18 points today. What do you guys think? I don't know what Ben Johnson's offense. He might put up some numbers, but 18 is a tall task, Sean. But I think I'm gonna say no. I don't think he's gonna get over 18.
I'm gonna say no as well.
Vikings defense too good, and I see that ball being in the air more than anything. And then he said, frauds, which has come to the title, and I asked, are the Ravens frauds? I don't know, man. You give up a lead the way they give up, you got Super Bowl aspirations. Questions like that will come into play. But one more story, and then we're going to get into this NFL Week 1. I already talked football, Sean.
Yep.
I think the boxing world is dead, because now we are at the point where we had the Paul brother, while his name is Logan Paul. Not Logan, Jake. It's Jake. Jake Paul fighting Tank Davis. Clearly a gimmick exhibition fight. And weight class clearly clash together. So this clearly is a fake gimmick fight. Then now we got Floyd Mayweather agreeing to fight Mike Tyson. Not even on that the weight class is not even the same bracket. Age difference is crazy. Sean, let's be real. It's boxing dead at this point. This is WWE stuff. You know, I'm a WWE guy, but it's worse than WWE booking. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I think it's just a sad state of where the sport of boxing really is, SB, to be honest with you. You know, stuff, and again, this is an exhibition. I want to remind people, you know, Muhammad Ali fought exhibitions. Like, he fought Antonio Inoki. He fought, you know, Lyle Alzado in an exhibition, the football player. Like, so it's not anything to see guys do exhibitions. But I think when you just look at the state of the sport and as a whole, these names are the what's supposed to be the draw. And it's like, I mean, where is boxing going? Or, you know, ultimately, I know we got Canelo Crawford, you know, coming up, which is probably the best fight left for the year. But even then, you know, I think Crawford's going to tear him apart. But to be frank with you, yeah.
Nah.
When
the fight comes, we can debate it during the time. But I'm gonna tell you, I only believe Canelo because of weight class. He too big, girl. But
I don't care about that. Yes,
but the logic of boxing came about it. But like I said, we'll wait when he comes to the fight. We'll have a fight preview. But I want Canelo to win? No, but my boxing, he's gonna win.
No, I mean, I'm just saying, like, I think it's just a true state of where the sport is and where the fight game is in general and why it's still struggling. I think in a lot of ways to be, you know, keep up with UFC, and not that UFC is, you know, maybe once what it was, but I think ultimately it's just, where's the sport going? And I know, you know, we got to have, you know, Khalil on at some point to come in and kind of talk about it, because he does, you know, obviously keep up with boxing probably much deeper than you and I do. But yeah, it just makes me wonder where the sport is going. I don't say I hate, but I can't stand Jake Paul. I can't stand Jake Paul. I don't hate on somebody having success, but I can't stand Jake Paul. Like, it's just been bad, just all around for the entire sport of boxing. But, you know, we'll have to do a deeper dive when we can have Khalil come on and talk about it, because I'm really worried about where the sport is headed long term.
And honestly, Sean, and I hate to say, kind of, we gotta get to this football. I hate to say this, but boxing is at a point where it got so bad and people duck so many fights and we don't get the fights we want. It needs a structured program like the UFC where you cannot avoid fights. And I hate that it has to be like that, because then fighters will not get the money that they should be getting, a lot just like the UFC. But yeah, it needs that. Also, salute Johnny in the chat. He said Tyson versus Mayweather is such silly. Man, I'm trying to tell you, dog. I'm trying to tell you, it's bad. Salute True the King in the chat. He said Crawford all day. Cottage asks, who's better, Josh Allen or Aaron? Are you asking in a prime? Aaron Rodgers right now, Josh Allen. Max Jackson said the Ravens suck for that loss. All right, I know you gonna be saying that the Ravens suck. Got the Cowboys hard hat. That's when you know it's football season. You see Action Jackson around in that Dallas Cowboy hard hat. But, Sean, it's NFL Week 1 recap. We do have a game tonight with the Bears versus the Vikings. Make sure you guys comment under the video and comment in the chat who you got winning tonight and what is the score. Who let us know who you got. We had a boatload of games, Sean, different storylines. Earlier, before Sunday, we had the Cowboys versus the Eagles. The Eagles take care of business. Then we also had my Chargers put BTA to the Kansas City Chiefs. Just wanted to say that. Then we get into the week where we had a lot of games and a lot of different questions that need to be answered. We got Daniel Jones' first start as the coach. Aaron Rodgers, Justin Fields' first start. You got Travis Hunter playing on both sides of the ball. You got new quarterbacks in new situations. But, Sean, it was one story that stuck out the most because of this Sunday, because he just got traded there a week before the first game of the season. And Action Jackson probably still having nightmares about this as him being a Cowboy fan. And Micah Parsons got traded to the Green Bay Packers. And with him getting traded to the Green Bay Packers, which we did our NFL weekly picks of the week. Shout out to y'all guys for tuning into that video. Make sure you guys check that out. We're going to do that every Saturday morning. You can get your picks for who we got winning and losing, and also might have a parlay. Well, I'll throw a parlay here there too, so we can try to get y'all some money. I got to go back and look at the video. So I actually think the touchdowns that I said hit, I didn't, and I had my wrong phone. I didn't put it in. I should have put it in. I waited too late. I didn't have my other phone because my login is on my other phone. But I think my parlay touchdown that I said hit for the picks of the week. So make sure y'all tune in for that. But Micah Parsons under a week to prepare, playing for the Packers. And during our picks of the week, the reason I'm bringing this up, you both acknowledge that we wonder how long would he play, how many snaps would he get. He really only got like half the snaps of the game, but I can say his presence was felt. So my question to you, Sean, is, and I want everybody in the chat give us a grade of 1 to 10 grade level on this. Michael, or A to F grade. Michael Parsons' first game as a Packer was what?
B plus.
B plus. Okay, I like that.
B plus. Yeah, B plus. Yeah, B plus. Yeah. I mean, he didn't play a lot of snaps. I mean, he only played about 40% of the snaps. So they were obviously trying to work him in slowly, but he certainly had an impact. Did have a sack, in the game. And I'm not. And I'm not going to make excuses. The Lions, a lot of people, don't really realize the Lions are basically working in a new interior of the offensive line. Yeah. So, they were, I'll say, a little vulnerable, but that's also to say that Green Bay defense was really good. It's obviously better with Micah Parsons.
Yes.
And so, it's only 1 week. Obviously, we'll see how he looks this coming Thursday night on a short week against the Commanders. But but I would say definitely it was a B plus. You saw the impact. Obviously, a lot of adrenaline, a lot of juice. But it's he's got to sustain it, and let's see. We'll see what happens. After week 1.
Before I say, I got to say, Action Jackson, don't do that. Don't do that. Because now look, we talking about we don't need Micah Parsons. Y'all do need Michael. We ain't gonna lie now. We ain't gonna lie now. I know it's like, I know how y'all be with Jerry Jones. Y'all complain about Jerry Jones all the time. That y'all just end up when he make a crazy decision, y'all just be like, you know what it is, but it isn't agree with him. We ain't gonna lie now. Said Parsons would be below average after week 13, just like he was for us area. Now, I just think the Cowboys just give below average after week 13. We gotta be honest, Action Jackson. I know it's week 1. And Kirk said Packers, Eagles, NFC Championship game. It's definitely a possibility. Michael Parsons, I mean, it's very possible. It's very possible. We got to wait and see how it goes because we wish we're going to get more into the preview a little bit. We got to talk about Jordan Love a little bit. I got some to say about him. But for me, Michael Parsons' first game was definitely A for me. And the reason I'm giving him an A is because the amount of snaps he really played, the moment's notice of getting traded to the Packers that he did, and to play a regular season, not preseason, fast-paced game, and his impact was felt instantly. It's an A for me. Just for everything else that went on around the situation. This is looking like the Super Bowl contending type move that you added to this defense. And with Michael Parsons, I'm sorry, Sean. That last sack where he hawked down Jared Goff, that looked scary. And if anybody in the NFC North seen that, I would be afraid because I don't think this Packers defense has as many holes as the Dallas Cowboys did, especially with the D-line and getting to the quarterback. That's what I think, like, where you asked Jackson, I get why you said week 13 with that situation. But it was just the Cowboys defense was bad as a whole unit. Now, when you got a good defensive unit like the Packers around Micah Parsons, that's what Micah Parsons shines like a star player that he is. And you're going to see his value where he does do this. I'm telling you, Michael Parsons is this move is dangerous. This is a week's notice of the team. He probably don't know all the defensive calls. They played him in spurts, and he was that impactful to the game. Like Michael Parsons on the field was a part of the reason why he won. And then he said, "I wanted him, but not at that price." Man, you gotta. Hey, when you a top five, he's a top 3 is probably doing too much. But for a top 5 player's position, you got to pay the price. You got to pay the price. Got my boy Leaf Diggity with the super chat. They should have never gave us Micah Parsons. Oh my God, I forgot Leaf is a Packers fan. It's gonna be a long year. I do not want to hear Leaf all year. I don't want to hear you all year. We see that. So Lethal says, so fitting that the guy on the left has a Go MJ poster on his face on his wall. But all this channel does is bash it with fake narratives. Oh, you must didn't watch my show. Look, that's a different episode for a different day. You all must be on Go James Kingdom side. Michael Jordan is here. He's the GOAT. But back to the point. But Michael Parsons' first game, I think it was outstanding. And which we gotta have a segment later in the show talk about it's gonna be real takes or overrated, which we want you guys to react to that in the chat. John, I'm telling you, we have not seen nearly close to what the potential of what this Packers defense could be. Not even just because of Micah Parsons, but he's going to add to it. This team could be very dangerous, very dangerous. But we got to keep going to the next big story before we get into the rest of these games. And also comment down below because we're going to go through the recap. Comment your team if you guys watching, or let us know what game that you want us to recap on and let you know which one you want us to talk about too. And don't pick the Bears versus Vikings. We're going to talk about that at the end right before the game starts. Lamar Jackson and D-Hop been nice couple passes during that last game, but was attacked by a fan, I believe it was in a third, after a touchdown. And I guess like the fans after Hopkins scored, yeah. And a fan like attacked and shoved Hopkins and Lamar Jackson. Harbaugh has came out and defended Lamar. Also, from what I'm seeing on the article, the fan got banned. Right. They say Adam Schefter reports right here. Had to put the story back up. The fan who shoved Ravens wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins then got shoved by Lamar Jackson has been indefinitely banned from Bills at NFL Stadium per team official. The fan has been ejected after the shove Sunday night, which is shocking because Bills fans are usually like kind of cool, but I mean they kind of cool. They're cool. They cool. But what was your reaction to that? Because there's something bigger that happened during this game too, but we got to talk about.
Well, I mean, at the time of the game, the Bills were getting it handed to them, right? The Ravens hadn't even punted up until that point, I believe. And obviously, D-Hop, made a nice one-handed grab for a touchdown. It was D-Hop, it was vintage D-Hop. And, they're celebrating in the end zone, and the fan decided he's going to push D-Hop in the helmet, in the head or whatever. And that's when Lamar showed the fan. As you mentioned, SB, the fan has been, banned indefinitely from attending the games. Listen, there's nothing wrong with, a little bit of jawing, as long as you obviously don't cross certain lines. But once you put your hands on a player or, in any capacity, then, whatever happens to you, in my opinion, happens to you. Yeah. So, thankfully it didn't escalate beyond that. Obviously, Lamar, said he felt like he should have been better and let security handle it. But you understand, Lamar's coming, Lamar's coming at the defense of his teammate, and certainly, that makes all the sense in the world. Because again, the fan was out of line. Fan was wrong.
Fan was wrong. No, he definitely was wrong. And let me say this one thing quick too, because I know a lot of people has been coming in from Lamont. And I know how y'all used to like how Lamar does things with the open panel. When we could get to that point, usually how me and Sean do, because we have guests come on, guest talk, and we gonna have a point. Maybe if you guys interact and show that you liking the content, we can possibly start having like people call in. We ain't gonna be like how Lamar having like 20, 12 people on one time, because then people can't get their points across. People can't talk and be arguing. So when we get more and more in tune on FYF. Y'all see us. We're going to have segments where y'all can come in and talk. Especially because this season, you mainly going to get football from us. And then when the NBA comes, NBA. But the mainly right point, y'all going to get football from us. So if y'all do want to come on and have a question, want to call into the show for me and Sean, we can set that up. Just show that you rock with us. Let Lamont know y'all rock with us. Show on Go James King that you rock with us and y'all engage. Go on a Real Take So Fake Debates. Make sure y'all subscribe to our channel and engage, and we can open the panel like that. That's how we got to do. We got to get the engagement from y'all. Y'all got to like what we talking about and see that y'all want to talk and have good football conversation. With the conversation, then we can't have that. Today, we're not going to do it because we press for time because we want to actually get y'all out here to watch the Bears and Packers game if y'all want to. So we press for time. But in future times, yes, for sure, we will have like open. It's not going to be open panel, but open call so you guys come up and talk about y'all team. Now, back to the point of this. He said, Go Jan. He said, this era of quarterbacks needs a documentary. Mahomes, Jackson, and Allen are the most dynamic quarterbacks of all time. It depends on what aspect that like you're really looking at, because there's some quarterbacks in the past that are really dynamic that don't people really talk about. One of them is Sean's favorite quarterback, Warren Moon. Warren Moon was definitely dynamic and ahead of his time. And it was a lot of guys, especially ahead of their time, that really didn't get the opportunity or respect that they deserve at the quarterback position. I mean, it wasn't reasons above football. We got a guy like Dante Culpepper. It was guys dynamic like that, but it was a certain narrative or agenda that said that you got to play a certain style of play to be a quarterback. You know, I'm gonna just keep it in that type of terms. But Johnny, you understand me, brother, what I'm saying. So it was a little different, but I do understand the point of perspective of Mahomes, Jackson, and Allen are being one of the most dynamic quarterbacks too. I'll say more on the I'm more shocked of like I'm just saying straightforward. I'm more shocked of we're getting more athletic white quarterbacks, and also in switch dynamic we getting more pocket passing black quarterbacks, and so that's what I say. Like I'm seeing a little differences in that. So that's it. Now, Sean, okay, where's the next part of this story? In this, hold on, let me say one more thing to the comment, then we gotta keep going to the story if I pull it back up. You said you trying to cook us. I told you, look, I said literally, you can't get it. You gotta show us that you want. It's like our second show on here. This guy, I'm just saying this now so y'all get this out the day one. You can't get to that point. Y'all gotta show that y'all right. Go subscribe to Real Take So Fake Debates. Comment after the video. Comment under the video. Actually, when this live is over, because our live's not going to be like 8 hours like Lamont. It's not going. The max you might get for us depending on how busy the news is. Hour, 2 hours. If it's 2 hours.
SB, let me clarify something really quick. We appreciate y'all watching. Don't get me wrong. This is not a live open panel. This is a show. All right. This is we interact with the chat. We bring guests on from time to time, but it is a show. It's a format. The live panels are not formatted. This is a format. We use a format for this. If you rock with it, we love to have you back. And if not, it's okay. Yeah. You're welcome not to come back. But please understand, this is a show, a formatted show. This is what we do. All right. Appreciate y'all. Let's move forward.
Okay, thank you. Because I wanted to get it out. I knew it was gonna come at some point. I wanted to just get it out the way and storm me off. So now let's get back into it. Look, that they're gonna leave. Shout out, Lee. Let's get back into it. Sorry about that, Sean, but thank you. I just wanted because I knew it was gonna come at some point. I'm glad we're getting it out the way now. But yes, thank you, Sean. Back to the point of the game. Ravens choke against the Bills. Sorry, Ravens fans. I want to say this. When we did our weekly picks of the week, which we do every Saturday morning, now, I said the dynamic of this was a make-it-break game for the Ravens, Sean, right? I said because this is the Ravens. The Ravens is the most talented team in the league next to the Philadelphia Eagles, right? Next to the Philadelphia Eagles, I would say the Ravens probably the most talented team in the league. You win against this team last year, lost in the playoffs. This is a team you possibly might see in the playoffs again. And one thing you want to do to beat them, you want to have home field advantage, right? So with them possibility. I said this game gonna make or break my Super Bowl hopes for the Ravens. And Sean, they choked. And I'm gonna be real with you, Sean. I didn't even catch the comeback. I didn't. I was watching the game late in the fourth, 41. Ravens up by like 15. I'm like, how the Baltimore Ravens is set up. They got the game was a good game though. I was like, they got this in the bag. I had to go make a run anyway. So I was like, you know what? The Ravens got the game done. I go make this run. I don't think the Bills gonna do nothing too crazy before it ends. I go do what I gotta do, Sean. And I was on my way home. I get a notification. Boom. I was like, okay, this probably saying the Ravens won. Notification. The Buffalo Bills win in a dynamic kick in the field goal. And I'm like, bro, what happened in the last 4 minutes for the Baltimore Ravens to choke? And if there's a Ravens fan right here in the chat, when the question of the title of the episode is "Are the Ravens frauds?" Losing like this will throw that question up out of there, because this is the team that you're possibly going to see in the playoffs again. This is the team you're going to see. And it's not that it'd be different if it was just like a close game and it went down to the wire and the Bills just made the last play, or the Ravens just didn't score in the last play like last year. You had a lead with more than enough time to secure the lead, and y'all didn't get the job done. If that's not concerning for a team that you got making it to the Super Bowl, you're lying. And then today, the Ravens, for me personally, Sean, they're on fraud watch. That's just me. But what was your reaction to the game? I'm not saying they frauds, but they on fraud watch for sure.
Obviously, the game, the way the game went, the Ravens were dominating the game for basically 55 minutes of the game. But, it became sort of, what could go wrong did go wrong late in the game. There were a couple things. I want to talk about Sean McDermott earlier. Sean McDermott going for 2 earlier in the game. I thought the Bills were chasing points after that. Thankfully, for them, it didn't ultimately cost them the game, because had they lost the game, we'd probably be talking about that, some of his, in-game decisions. But there was one thing from John Harbaugh in the game that stood out to me. There was a punt. I think it was the second time the Ravens ended up punting. And maybe it may have been their first punt. And it looked like it was down, their player downed it on the 1 yard line. And it looked like he stopped it and stopped himself from touching the end line. And the officials called it a touchback. And when you watch the replay, I said, I think you got to challenge that, because, again, you're talking about making the Bills have to go 99 yards, because at this point the Bills have to drive the field and score touchdowns. You got to make it tougher. The fact that John Harbaugh didn't challenge it, I thought was a big mistake. And then, Derrick Henry was running amok early in the game. And then Derrick Henry, had the fumble that was forced by Ed Oliver. Bills recover it, and obviously they recover in Ravens territory, which gives them a short field. So it was just
that fumble too. That was bad.
Yeah, it was just everything that could go wrong did go wrong. And then the last drive the Ravens had was 4th and 3. They had it 4th and 3. The analytics said go for it, and if they go for it, they have a 81% chance of converting, as opposed to not going for it, and it was like 73% chance. So I just thought it was just some kind of mismanagement. And then I want to say one last thing. I know the Ravens that most of us know are the Ravens that are really have largely been built around their defense is their leader. That's who leads them. That's not this Ravens team. That hasn't been this Ravens team for some time. They don't have a terrible defense, but their best player is Lamar Jackson.
You got a Ferrari. You need to use them. Drive it like a Ferrari, not a Honda Civic.
Right. So this team is really built around the skill set of their offense, starting with Lamar Jackson. And to me, it was a little bit of that old school Ravens mentality of our defense will find a way. Our defense will get to stop. Our defense will get to stop. And I thought that was just a massive mistake. And then if we're just going to be honest about the Ravens, the losing the double-digit leads in the second half has gotten old. And last night was really the icing on the cake. Can they bounce back from it? Absolutely, they can bounce back from it. Will this define their season? Probably not.
No.
But, at the end of the day, last night, they should have walked out of Buffalo with a victory easily and be heading home to play Cleveland in week 2, up 1-0, and obviously now they're not.
Yeah, no, when I left, that game should have been over. And Kirk had a good point too. He said, "Is Harbaugh coach? Is he too vanilla?" I mean, you can definitely say that, but I feel like I get it. You don't want to take that risk. You want to trust your defense that much, but when you have a quarterback like Lamar Jackson, who at this point in his career, before somebody in chat say what I think somebody finna say, you got Lamar Jackson at this point in his career where he can make every pass imaginable. And also, he can make any play with his legs. You telling me you can't convert that 4th down, 4th and 2? You can convert that play. And then also, and I know he fumbled, but you still got Derrick Henry back here. Derrick Henry gonna get 2 yards. He's gonna get the 2 yards. So I don't understand why that happened, but that's what I'm like, no. He said the coach thinks he got the old Ravens defense, which he don't. As Ray Lewis is not right there right now.
Yeah.
He said, go ahead, Sean.
No, and I also say Lamar Jackson quarterback rating last night was 144. 144.
One bad.
144 when the highest quarterback rating you get is 158.3. His quarterback rating was 144. So they didn't have turnovers. The issue, quite frankly, I'm saying he didn't have turnovers. Obviously, they turned the ball over with the fumble. But, it was just, to me, it was just mismanaging the game. And again, you got to give Buffalo credit. They kept fighting. They kept pushing. And also, I want to say this really quickly. I have all the respect for Jair Alexander. I thought Jair Alexander was one of the best corners in the league in Green Bay. Last night, he looked like a guy that's hanging on by a thread. He was getting caught quite a bit last night. And again, it wasn't just him in the corners, but all their corners. But he was kind of the poster child last night. They just did not look good last night.
Go James. Only I said fraud watch after week 1 because we talking. This is if not the number 1 most talented team in the league, the number 2. It's Super Bowl or bust for them. That's why it's fraud watch. Now, if they was a team just destined to have a good season where they don't have high expectations, then I would say no. But when you are a Super Bowl or bust season, and you are, if not the first or the second most talented team in the league, giving up leads, and it's the same product been going on for years, even if you add more talent, it does get old. It does, like Sean said, it does get old. Lamar Jackson, we're not doing that. It just said, what was the other one that before we get into week 1? He said, Sam Darnold should learn how to throw a Cooper Kupp more than a JSN. I understand he is our number 1, but most of Sam Darnold pass yards are to JSN only. You just got to think with this point. I'm going through the comments now, Sean, so we can go through like the week 1. So if there's anything week 1 you want us to talk about real quick, comment down below teams question. We finna answer them now. I think with this one though, Sean and MC Robertson, if you with the Seahawks, you just got to give it time, and then don't expect too much for Sam Darnold. That season that you got from with the Vikings with him, I just think it was a little boosted. You don't expect to get that version of Sam Darnold at all. Sean, Action Jackson wanted us to talk about the Jets versus the Steelers game for week 1.
Mm-hmm.
What's your reaction to this? Because this is a different game, because this one hit different because I didn't expect too much from the quarterbacks offensively. You got a kind of vintage Aaron Rodgers game where he got 4 touchdowns, did get sacked like two to 3 times. You expect that from him with him at his old age. But then also, Sean, you got to look at the aspect of Justin Fields playing pretty good, looked decent, used his legs, made some plays. Happened. I think the opposite happened for me, where both the quarterbacks looked good, ended up being a close game shootout. The Steelers got the job done. The defense looked kind of suspect on both sides for me. So I was more shocked about that. But shout out to Aaron Rodgers and Justin Fields actually getting a nice game. What would your reaction to the Jets versus Steelers?
Yeah, I mean, I thought the Jets had a really good offensive game plan. They clearly the Jets want to run the football, right? They had 39 rushing attempts, 182 rushing yards as a team. Obviously, Brees Hall had over 100 yards. Justin Fields had 48 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. They want to run the football, but they also do, want to take advantage of, Justin Fields' arm. He only threw 22 pass attempts. So you could tell their team, they want to play ball control. Obviously, I don't think their defense played up to par as they would have expected. And Aaron Glenn, knowing Aaron Glenn as a defensive guy, they're going to get that fixed. I thought they did a good job against the run because, again, I think the Steelers, very similar. They want to run the football. They did not run the ball well yesterday at all. It was really a lot of Aaron Rodgers. And, again, people talk about DK Metcalf, but, Calvin Austin had a decent game. Jonnu Smith, had 5 catches. Freiermuth had 3 catches. So, he did a good job of spreading the ball around. And, and again, they just made enough plays when they needed to make them to win. And I think, again, that was, really what it was about. I don't think the Steelers can sustain if they think Aaron Rodgers is going to throw 4 touchdowns every week.
That's not going to happen.
I don't think that's who they are at this point. But that said, you take the win in week 1, how you can get it, and you move on to the next opponent.
Yeah. Now, so I got one I actually do want to talk about, and I'm surprised nobody brought it up. But in the picks of the week, when I picked the Broncos, because I rock with the Chargers. Somebody asked in the chat who our team was. I'm Chargers, Bears, Sean is the Saints. So I don't like seeing people in my division win with the coming to Broncos. But I called the Broncos getting the dub, and I said verbatim, if you are a Titans fan or a Cam Ward fan, do not let this game make y'all overreact and think Cam Ward is a bust. This Broncos defense is the real deal. And Sean, at 218, it happened. What I said was going to happen. And people overreacted to Cam Ward because he did play good. He did look good. One is his first game. And he playing against one of the best defenses in the league. And you will be out your mind if you think Sean Payton finna let some rookie on his first game come show out on his defense. You'll be out of your mind. But I hit the money. I hit it right on the money when I said that, Sean. That it was the Cam Ward wasn't gonna look as good against that Denver Broncos defense, and I was kind of right.
Yeah. I mean, well, a couple of things. I watched a good portion of that game, honestly, and 2 things that really stood out for me about Cam Ward. One, he showed why he was the number 1 pick in the draft and why he was the best quarterback in this draft. He's got some veteran moxie to him, even as a young player. There was a play when he was in the end zone, actually, and, he's looking downfield. He's not looking at the rush. Denver's coming. He keeps his eyes down the field, and, he hits a man downfield for a nice play, back in the end zone. So he wasn't panicked. But obviously there were a couple of plays where, again, there were some times where, I don't think he was holding on to the ball. I just think it was KYP. You got to know your personnel and know who you're playing. Vance Joseph on 3rd and long and on 4th down, he's bringing the house. He's going to go 0 a lot. And I didn't think the Titans did a good job of scheming to prepare for that. So obviously, he got sacked 6 times. I think the other thing too was Denver turned the ball over 4 times, including 2 Bo Nix interceptions and a muff punt. The Titans got back in Bronco territory, well within field goal range. What did Denver's defense do? They came after him. They pushed him back. Again, and at that point, it was a 1-point game in the middle of the 4th quarter. Tennessee had a chance to get 3 points right there and fell out of field goal range. So it's the little stuff and I'm not little, but the stuff like that is the difference in, winning and losing sometimes on Sunday. And that's what you saw. But, going against that Denver defense is legit. Like you said, SB, they are absolutely legit. They were legit last season. It's just everybody wants to talk about, number 10. That defense is legit. And, we need to put some respect on that defense. And if they go anywhere this season, I think it's going to be largely because of that defense, because they are absolutely legit.
Yeah, Sean, I'm glad you did bring up the point about number 10 with Bo Nix. And I'm gonna say this: it's not even that like Bo Nix was getting like a lot of extra praise. He is. It wasn't because of his play. I think it was just more nobody expected Bo Nix to be that good. Remember, we did the draft live stream. We laughed at the Denver Broncos for taking him, and everybody had that same reaction. Nobody expected Bo Nix to be half as good. So for him to be above average, it was shocking. It was a shocker. But the bread and butter of the Denver Broncos will be the defense for them to get where they want to be. And he said that 6 sacks, they got to protect the kid. But yeah, go Jay. But it's bro, that Broncos defense is real. You know, I watch them twice a year at minimum, really more than that, because I'm a Chargers fan. So I play close to their division. When I tell you, the Broncos, and I hate to say this, I hate to give teams in my division credit. The Broncos could possibly end up being the best defense in the league. That's how good their defense can be. Literally, they in contention. Do I think they do that? Probably not. Well, I'm gonna say I hope they don't do that. I'm gonna be real with you. I hope they don't. But they have a potential. That's how good their defense is. And the Vikings too. Yes.
Yeah, and I will say, you know, just to back to the Broncos Titans game yesterday. Titans had quite a few drops. Calvin Ridley had, I want to say, probably 3 drops. I mean, normally Calvin Ridley doesn't drop balls like that. He had a couple drops. They weren't, you know, really helping him out. Tony Pollard had a fumble yesterday as well. So, you know, again, and the Titans defense played really well. It was just, you know, when you get those moments to capitalize and put up points, you can't leave the field with no points. And again, the muff punt by Denver, I think it was Marvin Mims Jr. I think he muffed the punt. Titans recovered. They were literally right there and got pushed out of field goal range. So it's that type of stuff that, you know, again, can win or lose games on a Sunday, you know, for you. And that's, I think, what happened to the Titans yesterday. So, but that said, you know, future's bright. They just got to clean, but they got to obviously clean some things up. And I think they got to help with, you know, some of the play calling as well, because there wasn't a lot of quick stuff in their play calling yesterday. It was a lot of Cam having to drop back and go through progressions. And, you know, it might have been only, you know, 2 or 3 reads, but still, you know, some quick, I guess there was no quick screen stuff, none of that stuff yesterday from them.
Quick before we get into our segment that we want everybody to get to. Go Jays will know about the Eagles versus the Cowboys. I can make it real quick. It was a fun time watching the Cowboys look trash. That's all I'm gonna say. It was a fun. it ain't nothing more than that, Coach. I'll be real with you. It's nothing else. I don't know what else you want me to say. The Cowboys look trash. That's about it.
Yeah, I'll say this. I thought the Cowboys did a good job, particularly in the first half, moving the ball. You know, they had that Eagles defense kind of, I think, off balance, particularly once Jalen Carter was no factor in the game once he was kicked out before the game really even started. You know, I thought Dak made some plays. I thought CD made some plays. You know, that people are going to talk about the drops by CD Lamb and things like that. And that's to be understood. But also, you know, the Eagles had probably 3 or 4 dropped interceptions too. So, you know, it could have gone either way, to be honest. But that said, Jalen Hurts played a very, very, very complete game. And it wasn't about putting up massive numbers. You know, I think he only missed 1 throw. And I say missed 1 throw because they had a couple drops. And I think 1 was a throwaway. So, you know, he was really, really solid. The Cowboys defense, I think, did a good job of trying to they really took away the big plays. So you didn't see AJ and Devontae Smith, you know, getting downfield. I think they were in a lot of too high, if I remember. It's been since Thursday. But so they basically took away the only deep shot they hit was to Jahan Dotson on a post route. But for the most part, Cowboys defense played really solid. Got some pressure, but obviously didn't really get, you know, Jalen Hurts on the ground that much. That said, you know, again, week 1, you know, obviously it's a divisional opponent on the road. Cowboys go back home this week, get ready for the Giants coming in. Should be 1-1 after this weekend. But, you know, But that said, there's no moral victories, but obviously there's things you want to take away from the game, and you say, yeah, there's some things we did well, but obviously there's some things we need to be better at and clean up.
All right, Sean, we got one more segment to do. We got a game segment for us, and then we got to talk about tonight's game because the game is getting ready to start. The Bears playing. I gotta be locked in, and y'all don't want to hear me yell on stream. So I want you guys to participate in the comment section. We got a couple points that was hit after week 1, and if y'all like this segment to do it, we go keep it. We could probably keep it going, and then that's when you possibly, when we talk about your teams, and we can start getting the calls here. Real take or overreaction. So I want you guys either, if I'm going to say something that happened with week 1, I want y'all to comment in the comment section. Sean, I want you to say what you got to say. Is it a real take or is it an overreaction? Plain and simple. And then give me the reason why. Number 1, real take or overreaction. After one game as the coach, Daniel Jones proves he is the answer for the Indianapolis Colts as a starting quarterback.
Overreaction. The Dolphins stink. Because the Dolphins stink.
Yeah, they bad. They bad.
Yeah, the Dolphins they looked terrible. Yeah, they were awful. Yeah, they were the worst team to play week 1. They were awful.
Hey, Chargers, go ahead, go get Tyreek, man. A wide receiver should be available shortly. A wide receiver should be able shortly. But I'm going to say real take. Now, I do get that the Dolphins was trash. Is trash and probably going to be trash. And I expected better from them because I actually had to win it. But Daniel Jones actually didn't look as bad. He looked better than any time he played with a Giants jersey on that I can say that.
Yeah, sure. No, listen, he was really solid. He was really good yesterday. I'm not saying he wasn't. I'm just saying the opponent was really bad. Yeah. And we've seen Daniel Jones have games like yesterday. And the issue with Daniel Jones is sustainability. That's why we can't go crazy like, oh, this is Daniel Jones is proving it. It's one game against probably the worst team in the league, and again, the Dolphins are awful. It's terrible. It's terrible.
Daniel Jones finally got a good O-line. He looked good. All right, next up, Sean. Real take or overreaction. They have been called for this man's job already in week 1 in New York. Is it time to bench Russell Wilson to start Jackson Dart? Real take or overreaction?
I'm going to hear your side first.
Oh, it's overreaction. It's because at the end of the day, it's an overreaction because you're trying to rush the kid out there to set him up for failure. And that's more the one part. And 2, what did y'all expect Russell Wilson to do? What did you thought you was going to put a chef for the last couple of years, because his slogan is let Russ cook, come in your kitchen, and he been burning the last 4, 5, 6 dishes that he been burning up. And you thought he's going to, because he put on a New York apron, he's going to turn to Gordon Ramsay all of a sudden. No, what I've seen on the field is what I expect to see from Russell Wilson at this point in his career. I'm not shocked at all. But I am not overreacting to Russell Wilson playing like how I respected Russell Wilson to play, to throw a rookie out there in the fire, and he does not look good because y'all just throwing him out there. Now, if the question was, where everybody asking for Jameis to come out, now we can have a conversation. That's a real take. Maybe get Jameis out there at some point. But at this point in time, I don't want to see Jackson Dart until at least after week 8. Week 8 or 9. That's me. But so, yes, 100% overreaction.
It's a real take. It's a real take.
You just want to throw Jackson out there.
Listen, he's your future, right? He's your future. Now, I'm not talking about what he did in the preseason. I'm just talking about you're not going anywhere with Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson is your starting quarterback is like marrying a Kardashian. It's going to end. It's going to end. And Russell Wilson has been a DBM basically his whole career. What's a DBM? A deep ball merchant. That's what he is. And at his peak, he could make plays off platform and athletically outside the pocket, things like that. That's not Russell Wilson anymore.
No, it's not.
That's why you think the Broncos paid him $85 million to get out of there?
Yeah, that's a
Why
lot
you
of
think
money
the
to take
Steelers
away.
didn't? Why you think the Steelers didn't fight to keep him?
They didn't go.
So we just need to keep it a bean about Russell Wilson. And Russell Wilson has been a media darling, and they love him because he answers all the right questions and blah blah blah. But let's watch the tape. Watch the tape. This is what he is. This is what he is. So it's an absolute real tape. Get Jackson Dart ready. He's your future. He's your present, and it's about the future for that Giants organization. And it starts with Jackson Dart becoming a starter sooner than later.
Yeah, buy please. Next up, Sean. Real take or overreaction? Tua Tagovailoa time as a starting quarterback is over.
Oh, it's an overreaction.
Wow.
It's an overreaction. It's an overreaction.
Why?
Who else they got? Zach Wilson?
Yeah, at that point.
No, yeah. So
call the Giants, get Jameis. He's sitting on the bench.
No. That's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. No, the issue is that again, the Dolphins team is just it's a mess. It's a mess. They're a track team playing football. It's a mess. People know their MO. People know generally what they're gonna do. Yeah, they can burn you, but they're a track team playing football. And again, it's an overreaction. They had a terrible game. They looked really, really bad. They really looked bad. Now, if it was a matter of his health, and again, I don't think he's not healthy. I think it was a question about all the concussions. Is he gun shy? I don't think he's gun shy. I just think he looked really bad yesterday. But obviously, he had the concussion issue last year. He came back. He played pretty well when he came back. The offense was better when he came back. He's still a starter, but I think he's on borrowed time in Miami. I think if they don't do anything this season, I think they're going to clean house because they're paying him a lot of money, and they're paying Mike McDaniel a lot of money, and they're paying Chris Greer, the GM, a lot of money. They're going to clean house because they're spending a lot of money to basically be a 6-win or a 7-win team, and the gap between them and Buffalo is wide in the AFC East. So I think it's an overreaction, but I think he's on borrowed time.
Yeah, Tua is done. Somebody else time. It's over. Tua is done. It's an overreaction. Also, shout out to the money in the GCU Men's Basketball Club. Go ahead, donate. Hit up the FYF on the paper. Donate to the GCU Men's Basketball Club, by the way. It is not. It's a real take. This is at the end of the day, Sean. There's so many different question marks. With this team, and it starts with Tua Tagovailoa, because if it ain't that he playing bad, it's his health. So we might get him to play good. He out, and then it's like he's still playing bad. He out. So it's like he's a walking injury, which is like, don't get me wrong, anybody in football can get hurt before somebody say it in the comments. Anybody rewatching this, let's just say anybody can get hurt anytime. His history is showed that it's like Anthony Davis. I mean to shoot down my Chicago brother. It ain't about if, it's when it's gonna happen with him. And it's sad to say that. And then his is serious. This is concussion. This is brain injury. And this was a concern about Tua when he got drafted, about him possibly being too small. And I'm third ride for Tua because he's an Alabama quarterback, but I got to call a spade, Sean.
Yeah.
The Dolphins and their game plan that they're trying to run in the scheme of everything they're trying to run with this team is done. It does not work anymore. They caught everybody by surprise that first year when they first got Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill looked like an MVP caliber player. Tua looked nice till he got injured. The offensive scheme caught everybody by surprise. The things they doing, the motions that they was doing, the shifting that they was doing to their offense, which they changed the rules a little bit too, so you can't really do it the way they was doing it originally. Nobody's going for that no more. Now it's like, okay, can you adjust now? And the proof is on film that they cannot adjust. They keep trying that same play style. It doesn't work no more. It starts with Tua, it starts with that, and it has to go. Like I said, Chargers, be on the watch. Go ahead and get you a quarterback. That's all I'm saying. It's time for it to go. Next up, though, Sean. Real take or overreaction? Aaron Rodgers is back to being an elite quarterback after his 4-touchdown performance?
I'm going to say overreaction.
Okay.
Because I don't think Aaron Rodgers has been elite for probably a couple of years at this point. But Aaron Rodgers, you can win games with Aaron Rodgers. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And again, I think the Pittsburgh Steelers were a playoff team last year with Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. I think they're going to be he's going to be really good, but I don't think he's got to be elite for them. I think he's just got to be really good, really solid, and they'll help them win a playoff game that they haven't won in 8 years.
Yeah, it's definitely an overreaction because you still see points of Aaron Rodgers where you see the flaws, him obviously not be able to move, so he got sacked those couple times. And also, let's be real, the Pittsburgh Steelers haven't seen good quarterback play since Ben Roethlisberger, so it's like, oh my God, we scored more than 2 touchdowns, 2 passing touchdowns. Oh my God. So they just not used to seeing this. That's all it is. If you have to go a year with Russell Wilson being your starting quarterback, Sean, and to see this, that look elite to me. So that's all it is. But it's an overreaction only from the point of that. But no, he is not elite. He just looked it solid. Now the main question that was we got one more after this one too, and then we got to talk about the Bears versus the Vikings preview. But the main question that was the main topic of the video, Sean, real take or overreaction? Are the Baltimore Ravens frauds after choking this game away against the Bills?
Massive overreaction.
Wow.
Massive overreaction. Remember, the Ravens started out 0-2 last year. They lost a tough game, in Kansas City on opening weekend or opening night, and then they lost to the Raiders unexpectedly week 2, and they were fine. It's one game. They'll be fine. They're not frauds. They'll be fine. They'll just their big thing, the Ravens' big thing is figure out how to close games. Because again, losing the double-digit leads, the way they've lost the double-digit leads, I think they've lost. I think the number I saw was 12 since 2021. That's not a good look. But you got to close games. And again, thankfully, it happened in September and not in January. But the Ravens are not frauds. They're going to be okay. They still have Lamar Jackson. They still have Derrick Henry. They still got a really solid defense. They're going to be fine. Ravens are not frauds. Massive overreaction.
I definitely just see the overreaction there. But are the Ravens frauds? If we talking just in general as a team that's good to compete, no, this is an overreaction. But Sean, I'm being 100%. You know I rock with the Ravens. This is the real take about the Ravens being frauds as a championship contender because this game has massive implications that y'all ignoring, and y'all just looking at this as week 1 game. The scheduling has been changed to where games are going to matter at all points of the season. At points at division games at the end, division games back up front. But these are 2 teams that are going to possibly see each other in the playoffs and possibly be the 1 or 2 seed. What was the difference last year for the Baltimore Ravens losing, and that you could use it as an aspect? They was not at home. They was not in Baltimore. So y'all not taking this one loss to the Buffalo Bills at home seriously. Y'all gonna think about this later in the year when they gotta go to Baltimore. Go to Buffalo again in the snow and lose. Y'all not thinking about that point. Y'all not looking at this. This is not an overreaction because this is the team who is, like I said, the most talented team in the league, if not second to the Eagles. Championship. This is a championship or bust year, Sean. Championship contending teams do not give up a lead like this under 5 minutes, Sean. How can you not control the ball? How can you, as hardball, I don't care if it's week 1, this is a team you know you're going to see. How you don't have a play to set up to seal the deal? How you don't even go for it to seal the deal? You got to play a quarterback like Lamar Jackson who can literally do everything on the field. Then next thing, Sean, I'm a question. I know you have, but I'm questioning the defense. I don't know if I 100% trust the Baltimore defense. You even brought up the fact that Jair Alexander was out there getting cooked. This is not the Ray Lewis era defense. This is not that smash mouth shut down your team defense. For the Ravens to win, the defense does have to be good. But for a championship contending team, Sean, they looking like they on fraud watch, Sean. I'm gonna have to be honest with you. And the defense is the top of my list. It's not Lamar Jackson that I'm worried about. I'm going to be honest with you. That's just me. And then Trent, he said, why you not play the film? Because possibly copyright strikes. That's the only reason why. That's just me, Sean. So I don't, in general, as a team, no, Sean, but for a championship contending team, where they headed and where they want to be, yes, you have to look at that, Sean, because you can't just say, oh, they just lost. You know, and they come out, they blew the game away, Sean. You have to look at that. Last one, Sean, is you don't want to rape. I'm just telling you, Sean, it's there with the Ravens. But last one, Sean, before we get into this Bears versus Vikings. Real take or overreaction? After game one, seeing how the defense looked, Jordan Love, the Packers are the most dangerous team in the NFC.
I'm going to say real take with an asterisk. I think they're the most dangerous team in the NFC with the Eagles. I think they're the most dangerous team in the NFC with the Eagles. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think they're better than the Eagles. I think they're the most dangerous team in the NFC with the Eagles.
I would have to agree with you. This is a real take because that Micah Parsons trade definitely add a whole different dynamic to the Packers because a lot of people had high hopes for the Packers in general. They are nowhere near more talented than the Eagles. But I guarantee you, if the Eagles were to happen to play the Packers, they would probably rather not wait until the NFC Championship game instead of seeing them early in the playoff situation. I would have to definitely say that's definitely a real take. Okay, Sean, we got a game that's possibly finna get ready and start. If not, if it's already starting right now. So that's why I said this first Monday Night Football. Any other time we might possibly extend it with the game, but the game is getting off. It's the Bears. I'm at home. I got to watch this game. Bears versus Vikings preview. What's the expectation for the night? Who we got winning? Obviously, did this game make it to our picks of the week? I think it did.
Yes.
But I don't know if it's going to matter or not tonight.
It's not. It's not.
Okay. But what's your preview for tonight's game?
Obviously, this is J.J. McCarthy's first time starting a regular season NFL game. So, this is essentially his rookie year. We'll see, how he looks. What can, Dennis Allen throw at him, as a veteran defensive coordinator from the Bears side. They're going to be without a couple of their corners tonight, including their Pro Bowl corner Bears. So, can the Vikings take advantage of that? But on the flip side, obviously, we talk about the Bears. It starts with Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams. Can they start to find that symbiosis between play caller and quarterback in terms of what, Ben Johnson wants and what Caleb Williams, is comfortable with running? Mm-hmm. I know they have him under center a lot. Caleb Williams is used to being in the shotgun. Going to be watching for that tonight. And then obviously, from the Vikings defense perspective, Brian Flores, we know what Brian Flores is. It's going to be exotic. It's coming from different places. You got to be prepared. You got to be ready. Can the Bears stay balanced enough to keep the pressure off of Caleb Williams, who we got to remember is still a young quarterback himself, even though obviously he has a season under his belt starting. So going to be a good matchup, but I've taken the Bears at home. I just think the Bears – will find a way to win this game at home.
For me, Sean, I think this game is going to be a great game. And what I want to see from both sides is Taylor to take. With the Viking side, I want to see what they do defensively to make the game easier for JJ. Like, the Vikings defense is going to have to control this game if they want to win. And then also, I want to see what type of package that they're going to run for JJ. I don't really think to see nothing too exotic. I think it's going to be a lot of basic. I think Jones probably going to have the ball a lot more than anything, try to make JJ jobs easy. I think it's going to be run and gun, ground and pound for the Vikings on their side of the ball. And then the Bears, I want to see what Caleb Williams is going to do against this exotic defense. And it's another thing I said about Cam Ward. I'm going to tip my head to the Vikings defense. Do not overreact if Caleb don't look outstanding, because this Vikings defense is a problem. One of the best defense in the league, another contender for being one of the best defense in the league. Do not overreact. Now, if Caleb Williams go out here and torch this Vikings defense, throw like 4 touchdowns over 250, you deserve to overreact, because I can't see no quarterback just torching the Vikings defense like that, Sean. I cannot see it. So, but that's the main thing I just want to see with the play calling on the offensive side of the ball. And now with Jalen Johnson out with the Bears defense, I want to see how this new buffed up D-line does and how would they disrupt this rookie quarterback. That's the main thing I want to see. Sean, we got to go through our picks of the week from last week. So what is the week and how we do this? We get picks of the week all during the week, and then winner of the year wins. Last year I won. So this year we back at it, fresh new season. So what was the picks that we made?
Right. So starting Tampa Bay at Atlanta. You took Tampa Bay. I took Atlanta. Tampa Bay won that game. Cincinnati at Cleveland. We both took Cincinnati. Cincinnati barely pulled it out against Cleveland.
Suspect watch right there too. Watch right there too.
Miami at the Colts. We both took Miami. Never again. Las Vegas at New England. We both took the Raiders. Raiders looked really solid yesterday.
Always after Raiders, by the way.
Arizona at New Orleans. We both took Arizona. Arizona did win by a touchdown. Pittsburgh at the Jets. We both took Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh did win. Giants at Washington. We both took the Commanders. Commanders did win. Carolina at Jacksonville. I took Carolina. You took Jacksonville. Jacksonville did win. Tennessee at Denver. We both took Denver. Denver did win. San Francisco at Seattle. San Francisco did win the game. Had some injuries come out of that game as well. Detroit at Green Bay. We both took Green Bay. Green Bay dominated. Houston at the Rams. I took Texans. You took the Rams. Rams won that one. Baltimore at Buffalo. You took we both took Baltimore, and Baltimore, of course, lost the game.
Yeah, so week one goes to your boy SB. I'll take that one. We starting off strong, but we gonna stay locked in because you know how that go. I think I got on the heater last year, and then you just took off for like 6 weeks straight for me. 82, Sean, who you got?
82. I'm gonna go with Jimmy Smith, Jacksonville Jaguars. Jimmy Smith should be in the hall. Should be getting Hall of Fame consideration. So I'm going to 82, Jimmy Smith.
82, Jimmy Smith. I like that. Let's not go Ozzy. I'll go Ozzy Newsome. There you go.
All right,
82. I'll take that one. But yeah, go ahead. We watched this football game, guys. Appreciate you guys for tuning in with us. We will be back here live every Monday. It's been SB and Sean Webb. And we will see you guys on the next one. Peace out. The game is on. I'm going. I'm getting up out of here. Peace out.
Real takes.